Hi everyone, welcome to my week 3 presentation on temperament in the workplace. We all know working in any organization where there's more than one person, we know that there's different temperaments, different backgrounds, different values, different beliefs and experiences that shape what type of person we are as individuals and also how we perform in the workplace. In Kersey's book, he discusses temperament, character, and intelligence are important for a leader when it comes with interactions within a team. The importance of that is to know what type of person, right, you're managing or who you're leading in order to develop a good course of action in how to influence the people that are following you. Now, Kersey describes quite a few different temperaments, but he does categorize a few temperaments in the form of letters and also his assessment, which we took last week, describing what type of personality or temperaments we tend to have. And he lists them in groups of SP, ST, NF, and NT, right? And it divides into different categories of people that are more of spur of the moment. Some are more observant, right? They want to know their surroundings. Others are more compassionate and looking after others, right? And lastly, there are the tough-minded folks that really just, once they have an idea, they're pretty much stuck to that, right? And to be able to understand that in a workplace helps a leader tremendously. Right, as I mentioned, then you know what type of approaches to take when it comes to dealing with that individual. More importantly, in a group setting, right? You will know based off of the different temperaments on who would work better with each other, right? How to put together the team, or for that matter, on the opposite side, right? Who not to include as part of the team, right? Not that they're negative or not hardworking in that matter, but you want to be as effective and efficient as you can as a leader, right? And to understand the different temperaments, um, it helps you better to lead the team and to sort of maximize everybody's potential in the workplace, while also minimizing conflict amongst each other, right? Because if you have somebody that's sort of a spur of the moment dreamer, so to speak, right? Working with somebody that's really tough-minded, right? Based off of facts, right? And deadline-driven, then you're gonna have quite a bit of conflict there, and the team will possibly fall apart. A more important part of understanding temperament than sort of mitigating conflict is actually the more positive side of it, right? By understanding the different temperaments of the people you work with or your employee, you start to understand where their skill sets are, right? What they're good at, what they need improvement on, and how different skill sets can fit together in order to accomplish the goal that the organization has given to you, right? If you don't understand the temperament of an individual, then you may misjudge them, based off of what they've said in one instance versus their actual output in their behavioral pattern, right? Or they might just have a bad day, right? On that day, and you realize that, well, that's not normal for this individual, right? His temperament is usually, pretty outgoing, right? The go-getter and always, working with the team, right? Then you know that, well, maybe you can let that slide, right, and not take any corrective actions. Another example is if somebody is really lacking in an area, right? Understanding their temperament, you can address that and understand sort of how to deal with it without them sort of falling apart, right? Introverts, for example, are, very, I guess, Emotional internally, right? They keep everything hidden. They're not very confrontational. And to understand that, it becomes a more effective way of developing and leading an individual. One real life example that I do recall when discussing this matter is the first time I actually became a manager quite a while back. I was promoted and believe there were about 10 individuals that were under me that I had to manage along with there was one supervisor as part of the team as well. And so I was tasked to change the direction of the department, create efficiencies, find bottlenecks, and just sort of turn the department around, right? When I arrived, morale was kind of low. There weren't set processes, and so that's where I began, right? As a manager, I'm looking towards, making everything more efficient, right? Everybody has to sort of listen to what I have to say and do it, or leave if they don't like it, right? Um, and then that was my mistake, right? I didn't take the time to understand the different temperaments of the individuals. An example of that is when I arrived, the first thing I did was try to at least point out or see which individual is a go-getter, right? More proactive, willing to do more, right? And offering different suggestions and a dedicated employee, right? So I can develop that person and possibly rely on that individual on different projects, right? Moving forward. So as went on, the different projects and assignments that were given to this individual were done perfectly, right? On time. In fact, uh, early, right? And the quality of work was great. Follow-up communication was great, and just a overall well-rounded employee, right? So I thought, well, hey, this guy's a go-getter. He deserves a promotion. Might as well give him more responsibility, and possibly, have him lead the team a little bit. And so when the current supervisor was about to leave, I approached this individual and talked about, promoting him and leadership and what he thought. He actually freaked out on me. Um, it got so bad that he actually almost quit. Then I realized that, not everybody can be a leader, right, or wants to be a leader, right? It depends on their temperament, right? Their background, their experiences. You know, um, you know, with him, if I realized that, maybe he was, an observant, maybe introvert, right? Then I would maybe have a better understanding that, well, maybe this individual doesn't want to lead, right? He just wants to, do his work, perform well, right? And that's it, right? That's what makes him happy. Right? And not understanding that, I ran the risk of losing a great employee, right? And possibly even greater mistakes down the line. And so, in conclusion, it's important for anybody, particularly a leader, to understand the temperaments of their workplace, or more importantly, the team that they're leading, because it gives you a good idea on how to plan out certain things, right? We have an objective, we have a goal to achieve, but how we get there really determines the efficacy, right, of the project. We need to understand that certain people aren't always the right fit. And in understanding that, we will understand their skill sets better, and it'll make us a better team, right? And better leaders. And so I'm glad that I was able to share that with you guys, and I look forward to sharing more with you guys next week. Have a great week.